They're still finding the bodies of the victims of the Hamas attack over a week ago. The Zaka organisation that retrieves the remains of the dead say the latest person to be found at the Kfar Aza kibbutz had been beheaded. Yossi Landau is the boss. 33 years he's volunteered for Zaka all over the world. He's never seen anything like this. The sheer brutality of Hamas has stunned his entire team.
But in Kfar Aza and Be'eri, we're talking about a total of, I would say, about 280 bodies, 280 casualties. I would say 80% was torture. 80% of it was torture. And you're talking children, adults, children, when you're talking a pile, 2 piles, you found them in Be'eri, 2 piles of 10 children each were tied to the back, burned to death. This is something behind. This is next level, and
I mean, it's actually indescribable, really. It's indescribable, really.
It's indescribable, and I won't describe everything that I saw.
We joined him after the military called Zaka to take more bodies away. This time, Hamas gunmen. A soldier stops us. He says it's too dangerous to continue. Yossi wants to pick up the bodies. The soldier says he can't. Eventually they agree a digger will go forward and pick up the dead. We take another route.
How often do they find bombs and have to stop you from working?
Oh, all the time. All the time. Almost every time.
Have they been left on purpose? Are they booby traps?
Yes, they trapped the bodies.
The dead fighters are gathered together and placed in body bags. Members of the team then mark the bags with an X. It designates that they aren't civilians, but are the bodies of the killers themselves.
Well, they are still finding the bodies of civilians in this kibbutz. This is actually the recovery of the Hamas attackers, and they were killed here. It's interesting, but it's really dangerous here. We're right on the front line with Gaza. Soldiers have told us to come back and stay in this area because there's a direct line of sight. There are missiles coming in. They said there were 3 shortly before we arrived. And there are booby traps. Many of the bodies have been booby-trapped. So it's a very, very dangerous and painstaking operation, 1 week on.
Zaka already knows that their teams are suffering extreme psychological stress. Their families have been briefed to pass up the line if their loved ones are behaving abnormally. Humanely retrieving the very people who carried out the attacks is itself tough to do.
Is it difficult to actually recover the bodies of Hamas men who've carried out a massacre?
Very difficult. It's very difficult for us when we know that each and every of them killed our brothers and sisters and tortured the people, and that's what they came in for, that, and still we have to handle it.
What's clear is that the Hamas rampage of terror here changed from location to location. Sometimes they just murdered people, but when they had time, they tortured, maimed and killed men, women and children. The killers' bodies are removed by a bulldozer.